All right. Sorry, I don't know what day it is now. I'm steaming mad. Uh, September 6th. I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. I started my day at home, where I prefer to be, especially at this point. Started my day at home. Needed to be at the airport. I had a 06 flight to Atlanta to land me here in Little Rock after my connection. So I was up out of bed at 2:30. It's about an hour and 5 minute drive into the airport, and I'm still there, even even nowadays. Even though Richmond's not a big airport, I'm still there early because you never know what's going to happen. And that's the I didn't see this one coming. So I get in there and I have my carry-on, my backpack, rollerboard, small rollerboard. I'm only here for a couple of days. It's got my clothing and the other stuff in it. And then I have a Pelican Air 1607, yellow in color, maybe 4 months old, 5 months old. It's not very old at all. It's only been on a couple of trips. I'm in Sky Priority. I've got all my stuff flying first class because I've got those two bags. The Pelican's a little heavy, so it was, as I do the math, it was cheaper for me to fly first class instead of dealing with heavy bags and all their stuff. So I'm at Sky Priority. I slide over there. They're kind of busy. They open up at 4:45, somewhere in there, 4:50. Get up to the guy and I said, "Hey, good morning." We exchange, the proper greeting of the day, and hand him my driver's license. I scan my boarding pass on the little computer thing, and I said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I need firearms declaration." He's like, "Okay." Well, he starts to get it. He's like, "Hold on, I got to get my supervisor." So I was like, "Okay." Usually, there's some sort of I got to ask permission kind of thing. I don't know what they're doing back there. So one of the red coats, red jackets, she was wearing a red vest today. There was 4 people working the counter, 2 males, 2 females. She comes down and she's now looking at a yellow Pelican Air, relatively new, with locks on it. When I'm waiting in line, when I'm close to being next, I unlock the locks, but I leave them on there, trying to be efficient so I don't hold the whole thing up. So I'd set it up there, the locks are hanging there, and she's like, "Where's the firearm?" I said, "It's in the box." She's like, "Okay, open it up." So I take the locks off, set them on the counter. There's 4 push button latches on a 1607, 1 on each end, 2 on the front. So I pop those, open it up. She's like, "Well, where's the firearm?" I said, "It's in this pouch right here." And it's one of the relatively new Magpul soft-sided docket pouches, padded pistol case. Had a handgun in it, in a holster. The magazine and ammunition were separate, stored separate per TSA and Delta regulations. And she's like, that needs to be in a box. It needs to be locked. I said, "Yeah." I said, the rest of the components that I need to teach for what I do for work are in this thing. I said, "It's all goes in the big box." And then I said, "I lock it," and I showed her the locks. I said, and then I lock it with these locks. She's like, "No, the gun needs to be locked in a box." I said, and I'm trying. This has happened before. Like, "Oh, it needs to be locked in a box." And I was like, this big yellow thing is a box. And according to Delta's website, when I go on there and I check a couple times a year, make sure nothing changed, one of your preferred and acceptable ways to fly with firearms is a lockable, hard-sided luggage. That verbatim what it says. Hard-side, lockable luggage. It's those 3 terms mixed in there. She's like, "Nope, handgun needs to be locked in a box." I said, "Ma'am, it's in a soft-sided case so it doesn't get beat around, and so people don't see it when I open it up in here, and so it's organized so I know where it is, but it goes in this big box and then it gets locked." She's like, "It needs to be in a separate one." Granted, this lady, maybe 2 weeks ago when I was flying out to Montana, I had another Pelican Air, but it was a larger one, had more stuff, and I had a couple of long guns. And a couple of handguns. I remember her saying, if I can leave it locked, but unlatch the latches, if I could stick my hand in there and pull anything out, you can't fly. I was like, okay. You might pull out a raincoat. You might pull out, I don't know. I said, but I can guarantee you're not going to pull any firearms components out there. So she fumbled around for a little bit and didn't get anything. She's like, "Okay, fine." So I knew it was a little weird. I never had one like that. So she's steadfast. "You're not flying. It needs to be in a lockable case." And I said, "Ma'am," I said, "that's not I said, it's right here. Here's the policy. I have the policy written, or I'm sorry, the policy printed out. It's in a page protector. It's in the inside of that, just TSA's policy and Delta's policy. But I had it on my phone. So I said, hey, it says right here, lockable, hard-sided luggage or an approved, and I said that's what, these are made for tools and things like this. I said, when people come in here and they go hunting, they have a box just like this that's bigger, and their hunting rifles in there, and it gets locks on it and it goes. I said, it's the same thing. It's just now mine has other things that are in there that I need to declare. Nope. She's like, I'll call TSA. I said, I would appreciate it if you called TSA. Thank you very much. So she called TSA, and in the meantime, I kind of gathered my stuff, move off to the side. I said, you want me to just jump over here so things don't get clogged up? She's like, just move off to the side. So I did. A couple minutes later, a guy from TSA shows up. He's like, hey, what's going on? I said, I am declaring a firearm, and they said that I can't fly with it. He's like, well, where is it? And he's looking at my backpack. I said, no, it's in here. So I bend down. I'd already put the locks back on at that point. I said, you want me to open it up? He said, yeah, sure. So I take the locks off, open it up. He said, what's the problem? I said, I don't know. She told me that it's that I can't fly with it. She was like, hold on a second. So he goes down, and there's one guy that's still checking people out in the Sky Party lane. The other ones are down there, and he's having a discussion with them. He goes back. He's like, she says no. I said, well, how does that work? If TSA is the end all be all, and you're saying it's fine. He's like, let me call my supervisor and see what happens. So he calls his supervisor. He comes back over. He's like, hey, my supervisor said if she says no, that's a Delta thing. It's got to make it past their muster before it even comes to us. So if she says no, you're kind of jammed up. You can't take it. I said, well, where does that leave me? Now I need to fly. This is what I do for work. And he's like, I don't know. He said, you can always go to United or American or something. And I was like, well, that's not gonna work today. So, there's nobody else to call. She's the end all be all. She's the red coat for the morning. It's 4:45 in the morning. There's nobody else there. I'm in a jam. So they already had my luggage behind the counter. So I grabbed my backpack. I grabbed this Pelican case, wheeled it all the way back out into the parking lot. Now I'm in the parking deck, opening up, and I'm pulling stuff out, moving stuff around, trying to hide it in my POV so it's not in plain sight in a vehicle while I'm gone. Go back in. I get back in the Sky Priority lane, and now the guy that wasn't involved initially is standing there, and the people in front of me move forward, and he's like, hey, he just kind of looks at me, and then he yells at the red coat down. He's like, hey, what are you doing with this dude? Which is, super professional. What are you doing with this dude? I spent a lot of money with Delta. And I'm just the dude. What are you doing with this dude? Like, I'm inconveniencing him because he's got to do his job. She said something back and forth, and I said I still need to check the box. So I set the box up there, and I said I still need a firearms declaration. He's like, well, you can't fly with that. We've already determined that. I said the firearm is gone. I said, but there's other things in there that by TSA regulations I need to declare. So I still need, unless you have a knife declaration or, gun parts declaration, something like that, then I still need that. So he just kind of haphazardly throws it up on the counter. So I grab it and I sign it, date it, because I've done this hundreds of times. And I'm standing there holding it, trying to hand it back to him. He's like, what? And I said, well, you need to sign it on your box. No. I said, now what do you want me to do? Because now I'm confused. The agent's supposed to sign it, I guess, as a witness that I've signed it. He's like, put it in the box. So I put it in the box. I lock it, stand it up. He weighs it, puts the tags on it, and off it goes. So now I'm in Little Rock. I don't have everything that I need, and Delta has deemed that I'm not allowed to fly with my handguns. So I've been on the phone for the last 3 hours or so trying to talk with people. There's a couple of different supervisors that I've talked to. They're like, I don't understand. There's nothing on your Sky Miles account. There's nothing on your reservation. There's no notes. There's nothing that says that anything happened. I'm really confused. You've met all the criteria. You should have been able to fly. I don't know what's going on. I've heard the same thing 3 different times. So now I guess they're talking to the station manager or somebody else in Richmond. So I guess I'll cobble this thing together down here, get through this event, I don't know. I got a credit card. Maybe I need to go out in town and find a gun shop that'll. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Then when I get home, I guess I'll have to go down to the airport and make or call somebody down there and get a hold of somebody, and then go have a face-to-face and some sort of understanding meeting, I guess, because when I get home, 6 days after that, I've got to fly with 2 boxes of guns to the state of Montana for a couple of courses out there. So I really don't want to show up down there on a Saturday morning with 2 boxes and have a red jacket tell me that I can't fly. So I've got a couple of days to kind of figure this out and get some sort of something. Delta said that they could see on that I've flown the last 10 years. She's like, I've gone back like a couple of years, and every time you've flown, you've checked firearms. I said, man, that is what I do for work. This is putting a severe crimp in what I've got going on. So I need to get some sort of understanding or something. Somebody needs some retraining. I don't know. I guess maybe I need to make a formal complaint so I can get something flagged somewhere along the way. But well, just FYI, I've had some minor hiccups, bumps here and there, but never the. It's got to be in a smaller box locked up. She made no sense, and she wanted no part of. Man, this is a big box that's made for this. What would, and I even asked, I said, what if I had a couple of longer rifles in here and a couple of handguns? She's like, that's not. I said, well, I've been doing this for over a decade. And I said, I've never had a problem. The only thing she could look at me, she said, well, things change. So, that's my day. So I'll continue to make some phone calls, see what I can kind of figure out. And I don't know. I'm not never really been a huge complainer, but I guess somebody somewhere along the way needs to hear that there's some of this going on. Maybe I'll call Delta Corporate or send an email or do something, but it's this ridiculous. I can't be rolling into that airport 2 hours before a flight for a road trip. It's got a couple of back-to-backs, and I've got guns and nods and whatever else in it. They decided they're not going to let me fly with that day. That puts a huge. I'll make this one work, but some of these other ones that I go on, it's going to be bad. So if there's anybody out there that's got somebody at Delta I can talk to, this is kind of way past ridiculous. This is a power play. She didn't like my shirt, or I don't know what her problem was. But got to figure it out. But that's it. I'm gonna do a little bit of research, find a steakhouse and a cold beer, I guess. But trying to figure out how this is gonna work. You all take care, and I will maybe I'll come back and update you. Stay out of trouble.